And Carson was like, oh, really? Well, if you want, like, you can go to like you can go to PAX West and I'll fly you out and we can like share a room and I can introduce you.
Yeah,
and she was like, oh my God, like, yeah, I want to meet these people. And like,
using the experience or things that you've gotten out of age to leverage it or to use it again. These patterns.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that is like, that's the abusive stuff.
What do you tell the people that say 0.02 death rate and not approved FDA lol? What do you think about that?
They should get shot, thrown in a ditch in a video game.
Listen, you need to use words that aren't as hardcore when it's speaking to my people.
I meant shot. I said shot like at the vaccine. Wait, what did you think I meant? Like it's shots.
I thought you meant like they get shot like with a gun.
No, what? Why would I ever say that? That would be horrible. I mean, like the reality is that like these fucking losers are literally putting the entire fucking world at risk. These guys are like bioterrorists. Like not getting vaccinated and walking around publicly is basically the exact same as just running around and like shitting in the street and smearing it on everybody and then saying like how many people actually die from getting shit on them every year, right? It's the dumbest, stupidest thing in the world. Like they're literally turning their fucking bodies into these bioweapon factories to see how many variants they can fucking breed because they're too lazy or stupid or conspiracy in their head to actually go and get a fucking shot. Like it's so ridiculous. I know that you're younger, but like I'm 32. When I was a kid, like getting vaccines wasn't like a fucking controversial thing. It's just something you did.
Yeah. I never heard anybody talk about a vaccine in any way, shape, or form when I was a kid and getting vaccinated for all the things at school. I don't think I've ever heard an adult or a kid or a worker or a teacher speak about a vaccine like it's anything else but what it is.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell when people are like ideologically motivated because they like everybody says like this dumb things. They're like, oh well, if you get vaccinated, you can still get sick. Like, oh, you can still blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, if you put your seatbelt on, you can still die in a car accident, right? Like, there's like a million. If you put a helmet on when you ride a bike, you can still die in a motorcycle accident. Like, there's a million things that could still kill you, but it's all about like mitigating risk. And the problem is that like the more people are exposed to infections, the greater the chance you have that one of these things are going to mutate, and then the greater the chance you have that it's going to become more infectious or more deadly. So, for instance, the R0, the number of people that are likely to get infected from one person for the normal virus, I think is 3, and from the Delta variant, it's like 6 to 10. So, like, it's just absolutely unbelievable that people won't take, like, and these are, like, the minimum fucking steps. Like, personally, I would rather get vaccinated than have to wear a fucking mask everywhere because that shit is annoying, especially at the gym or especially when you go out to eat or when you're walking and it's hot outside. Like, wearing masks suck. Like, just get fucking vaccinated. It's not that hard.
Yeah. I mean, this take was pretty spot on. That's what I was saying in the chat, but people still get mad at me. They keep saying like,
yeah, because people respond with like dumb shit, but you can tell that they don't actually care. They're not thinking about it, right? Like anytime somebody says like you can still get sick, like you know that you can do that with anything, right? Like why would you ever take a shower? Like you could still get sick, or you could still smell bad, or why would you ever wear shoes? You could still step on a nail, or why would it's just so fucking stupid, right? Like nothing in life is 100%. You know, you take risks. Right? Why would you ever get pregnant? You know, you could have a baby that's as dumb as a Twitch chatter. Why the fuck would you ever do it like anything? Like it's so dumb. Why ever take birth control? Like you could still be a 0.1. Like people are like, oh, like 0.2%, blah blah. Like you can still get pregnant if you wear a condom. Like you can still get pregnant if you're on birth control. Like you can still get like yeah, it's just dumb. It's fuck. I don't care about all the other stuff like the Afghanistan or like socialism or any of that. The vaccine stuff really bothers me because I have anti-vaxxers in my own fucking family now, and we've had like 2 family members die from the fucking coronavirus. And like my mom is sending me Facebook memes about how if you get injected with any of these vaccines, you're gonna turn into like metal and like stuff will stick to you. It's like absolutely fucking insane.
Metal will stick to you?
Yeah, my mom, Melina was with me. My mom was literally joking. She was like, yeah, your dad got vaccinated. I'm going to wait a month and try to stick a magnet on him, and I'll see if I want to get it or not. Like,
Jesus. Okay, wow. I mean, wait a minute. That'd be kind of sick, though. You could be like Magneto. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like it seems like people don't take it like people downplay the fuck out of it and like, oh dude, look at the death rates, oh megalol, and then all of a sudden somebody in their parents gets sick, and then it's like oh my god, guys, take me as an example, man, go get vaccine. All of a sudden it's like a big ass swap, and it's like very odd. It's like it's really crazy to me that
I wanted to spend a day just going over like all like I think there's like a picture that's floating around on the internet now. There were like 6 Republican. I don't know if they were all in media or like small radio hosts or whatever. There were like 6 people that were all like anti-vaxxers and joked about masks and shit. And I think 3 of them have died so far. And they're not like super old. These are guys like in their 40s and 50s. They're not like in their 90s or whatever. Like reasonably healthy people, as healthy as Republicans are. But like, yeah, I don't know. There have been like so many people at this point that have had like Facebook posts making fun of masks and making fun of like vaccines and shit, and like then they die from the coronavirus. Like it's unbelievable. I wonder if they wonder about it, like when they're dying in bed, like barely able to fucking gasp for air. Like, oh god, like I'm gonna look so bad on Facebook after I fucking die like an idiot. Like,
I think from what I've seen I mean the suffering. I think it'd be kind of like the least of their worries how it's going to look. I mean, I think if yeah. Fuck, I was gonna say something else. There was one last thing. There was one last thing. Yeah, I don't remember what it is. It was probably vaccine related, to be honest. I think, listen, I actually wanted to get the shot, and you know what? It took me, I think, 8 or 9 minutes total in and out of the place. It was like bang bang, and I'm a nobody. I come from Canada, you know, and I'm in the United States. I literally got in there. Bing, bang, out, and for free at a local.
I mean, that's literally, yeah, Melina did the same thing. Like in Sweden, it takes like, I don't know what they're doing now, but before in Sweden, you'd like sign up for 1 shot in a month, and then you'd have to wait like 2 months to get the second one. But Melina came in with me. We're in a fucking grocery store in America. This is what it's like in America. You're in the grocery store, and they're on the intercom, and they're like, please come get vaccinated. We'll give you $10 off your groceries. Please come to the bag. Like, it's that free. Like, they're trying so hard. And fucking 55% of these fat, stupid, diabetic-ridden fucks won't just go to a goddamn grocery store and get a fucking vaccine. For the first time in your life, you have access to free fucking medical shit in the United States, and these fucking losers won't do it. It is one of the most embarrassing and shameful moments of our history. Holy shit. It is so sad.
Now that you put it like that, that's actually pretty facts. You're right. That now that it's free and it's actually helpful, nobody is actually getting it. Interesting. Okay. Now that we're done with that, last thing. Dude, listen, I've had bad takes, okay? And people are roasting me for my bad takes, but this one, people are really rolling me over it, and it makes me feel insecure that my take is so bad, okay? Take on Carson.
Carson, okay.
The Carson thing, texting at 1917, thoughts?
Who the fuck cares? 17 and a 19-year-old? Like, who the fuck cares? This is like problems on Twitter, by Twitter, and for Twitter. Like, this is like the dumbest shit in the world. Like, these are people where it's like you're a senior in high school and you're dating and you have like a junior girlfriend, and then you go to college and everybody on the internet calls you a pedophile. Like, it's absolutely fucking unbelievable. A lot of people on the internet don't know what grooming is. They just say it all the time. And the idea that like the difference between people will say like abuse of power too, and they don't know what that means either. It's just a whole bunch of like buzzwords that people throw around. I want to be really clear. It might be the case that Carson like did some really fucked up or bad shit. I didn't see logs of that anywhere. I just saw logs of him like flirting and shit, and like who the fuck cares? To be really clear, can I define like 2 things real quick?
Go.
Grooming, the act of grooming. Okay, grooming is when you present yourself as like an innocent friend, oftentimes to a younger person, and then you manipulate that later into a sexual relationship. So like an example of grooming might be that like you're like a 22-year-old guy and there's like a 16-year-old that plays soccer after school, and you start playing games with him and other people, and then like maybe in a few months you're like, oh, we should go take a shower and blah blah blah, and then you start to like you've earned like a position of trust in a non-sexual position, and then you exploit it in a sexual way. That's what grooming is. Grooming is super fucked because it destroys people's ability to trust other people. So if a 25-year-old goes up to a 15-year-old and he's like, hey, you want to fuck? I want to fuck you. That's not fucking grooming. That's just a pedophile, or that's just a guy trying to fuck somebody that's too young. That's not grooming. Every single time an older person tries to fuck a younger person, even if it's illegal or against age of consent, even if it's a 60-year-old and a 10-year-old, it's not grooming for them to just walk up and be like, oh, I want to fuck. Grooming refers to like the specific process of gaining a younger person's trust and then later on abusing that and exploiting that in a sexual way after they trust you in a non-sexual manner. That's what grooming means. And I don't think I've ever seen anything from Carson where he's like being like really manipulative or really crazy in DMs, where he's saying shit like, oh, like, yo, no, like we should date. Like if you send me nudes, like I'll feature you in my YouTube channel. Or like, oh, come on, don't you want to send me nudes? Like I'm a really big YouTuber. Like that'd be really cool. That would be an example of like abusing a position of power. Just talking to a fan isn't abusive in and of itself. It doesn't make any sense to say that. It's fucking stupid.
Okay. That's okay. I agree with the last part. I mean, I agree with the whole take as long as I learn from it and I become smarter about it. I just thought that it would it could be dangerous to leave people to draw the gray line on this about the age gap thing, and it's why sometimes we have things that are black and white. Oh, it stops at this age. This is black. This is white. And for people to make their own judgment on what is too much or what is acceptable, and to widen or narrow that gap or whatever. I feel like it was a possibly or potentially a dangerous thing. No.
So this gets into like a broader conversation, but like the short is that like I don't like the idea of like the problem with using ages is that nobody actually knows why it's bad for like a 25-year-old and like a 16 or a 15-year-old to like start hooking up. Like that's the problem, is that nobody actually understands why these relationships have the potential to be abusive. Instead, they just look at the ages, and then you get into really weird areas where it's like, oh my God, 1917, it's across the line. Now it's really bad. But the problem is a lot of the reasons why those older ages can be manipulative can actually be reasons why like normal relationships are manipulative. Like, so say for instance, like say you're a 15-year-old and you know you don't have a lot of freedom, you don't know anything about the world, and then like some like 30-year-old guy is like coming on to you and he's got a car and his own place and like he's like pretending that he's way more worldly. Like that can kind of like mind fuck you, because like, well, this person like knows so much more, he's like kind of in a big position of power over me, he can like offer me a lot that I can't get in other places, like, and the one path through that might be like sucking his dick, you know? Like these types of relationships are really bad because of those reasons. It's not just because he's 30 and because she's 15. That's like that's not really the reason why it's bad. It's bad because of all of the things that that person has experienced and that person can offer, and because the younger person just doesn't know any better because they're not in that position of power, right? And if you think about it, like if you go back, you know, like even 100 or 200 years, right? Like people would get married and shit at 13 and 14, right? Was that always like rape, or was that always horrible? Like in some cases, yeah, it might have been. But another problem too is that like you can find people that are like 21 or 22 that still live with their parents, they go to college, they've never had a job. Like theoretically, like a 21, 22-year-old in that position could be super taken advantage of by like a 22 or 23-year-old that is like super independent, has her own job, is wealthy, has a car, like, and you don't even need a big age gap to do it, you know?
Okay.
So like I guess like when I look at like when I look at like Carson stuff, when you say like 19 or 17, like that doesn't mean much. What I would look for is like you look at the conversation. If Call Me Carson, if the girl is saying things like oh my God, like I've never gotten to travel out of state before, I've never gotten to leave, and Carson is like, oh really? Well, if you want, like you can go to like you can go to PAX West and I'll fly you out and we can like share a room and I can introduce you.
Yeah,
and if she's like, oh my God, like, yeah, I want to meet these people. And like,
using the experience or things that you've gotten out of age to leverage it or to use it again. These patterns.
Yeah, and that's the stuff that is like, that's the abusive stuff. Just being popular and fucking a fan, or just being popular and having really, that in and of itself isn't bad if the other person is not like, is able to like understand what's going on and can make decisions for themselves and like isn't going to have this stuff like leveraged against him. But I'm just saying like it's a potential for abuse with famous people. But I never saw evidence of Carson doing that, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's always been I don't know. I'm really straight with myself and stuff like that. It's like a super hardcore no. And a very like avoid at all costs type of thing, right? So it's hard for me to relate or to see myself interacting in those ways when seeing others do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
That's actually one of the reasons why I didn't tell anybody, but maybe I told my streamer about this a little bit. It's why I closed my public Snapchat. I used to have a public Snapchat where I would just send a bunch of whatever. Right, and then people would like say hey, I'd say hi back, and did like hundreds of messages or whatever, right? And just sometimes I'd be uncomfortable, like, oh, this message, it's nice, but it looks like it's like loaded or something, and I don't know the rage. I'd like fuck it, and then it was like it was just weird to me. It's just weird.
Like 100%, and people will get mad at me for this take, but I don't care. If you are DMing somebody, you're flirting every single time, because there is absolutely no reason for you to send a private message to a large public figure unless you want to flirt with them, because otherwise just leave a public comment. Why that's like pulling somebody aside. Like if you walked up to a party and you saw somebody that you liked in the middle of the room, you'd walk and be like, oh hey, what's up? And they'd be like, oh hey, what's up? But if you're like, hey, can you come over here to the hallway so I can chat with you a second? You wouldn't do that to say hi to somebody.
Wait, okay.
Yeah,
You know what?
100%.
That's actually something that I don't fully agree with. I'll tell you. I'll tell you why.
What? Okay, I want. Yeah, tell me why.
Okay, I think some people. It's not about. Okay, in my opinion, I think the reasons and the motives why somebody would go for a DM instead of a public message is that they want to feel like they've been interacted as an individual person that's directed to them and nobody else. A one-to-one attention that they crave so much. Not something that is out there to get social validation, something they get to get their own personal validation.
Yeah, and there might be people that do that, but I would say that's inappropriate. You shouldn't be gunning for that one-on-one interaction with somebody because it's so unbelievably inappropriate to do that. Can you imagine in any other situation doing that? Like, say, for instance, like, let's say there's a college professor that everybody likes. You see him every day. You come here like, oh, hey, what's up? What up? Could you imagine, like, sending that person, like, a private message on Facebook? Or, like, if there was a girl or a guy in class of the opposite sex, could you imagine sending them just, like, a one-on-one message to say, like, hello to? Like, in any other situation, reaching out to somebody on a private channel is considered, like, a relatively intimate thing. If you're doing that, then, like, you're sending, like, really fucked up signals to people. You also have to keep in mind on the other side of this, and nobody will talk about that. And these takes are unpopular. I don't give a fuck. They're true as fuck. On the other side of this, too, is oftentimes you have young men that, no offense, if we play fucking video games full time, we're not getting a lot of attention from women. And, you know, people will talk about like, oh, well, like a 20-year-old is in a big position of power over like a 17 or 18. Well, a fucking 18-year-old girl that looks fucking hot is also in a big position of power over like a 19 or 20-year-old guy that's never gotten attention from women in his life, you know? So like, yeah, you know, there can be power one way, but there's a lot of power in another way too. Like, you will have guys that will throw away their entire fucking life like chasing some young fucking pussy. You can't tell me that that's not some type of position of power, right? And then also, and another unpopular take, I'll give these all day because it's true as fuck. Another unpopular take, a lot of guys talk about how like, oh my God, it's so immoral that this guy like fucked a fan or this guy flirted with a girl this much. Fuck you, dude. You don't have pussy thrown at you on a fucking platter ever. You have to work hard for it. When you get into like these big esports or these big like Twitch streaming positions and you have like legitimately fucking like 9 out of 10 girls that are like, hey, I want to suck your dick. Like, can you come fucking touch my boobs? Dude, 99% of guys could not fucking say no to that. They might pretend that they could on fucking Reddit, but absolutely fucking not if they were in that position, guaranteed. I don't want to be like super doomer, but there's a quote where it's like, men are only as faithful as their options. I wouldn't trust any non-celeb person to ever give a good opinion about dealing with the pressures of being like a celeb, especially if you're a young man, especially if you're a fucking nerd, and especially for the first time in your life, you've got girls throwing themselves at you. It's a really, really, really hard and difficult position to be in and to navigate.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, like I said, even though it's something that I found myself like I could fall into, I try to work with the code. Does that make sense? Like almost like an internal rule that's like a self-regulatory like hardcore like black on white rules, like a code. And I've always had this, and it's always like really helped me in navigating these things like very easily. So, and to never like be in trouble or be caught something weird or whatever. So, and it's just nothing weird, right? And I've had because I would open like dozens right of DMs, right? And you know, I did it because it entertained me. So I would say, happy, it's my birthday. I'd say, happy birthday. Oh, I'm going to bed. I'd say, good night. You know. Oh, I'm waking up. I'm eating this weird thing in Europe or whatever. I was like, oh, it looks good. I would just reply whatever. But then at one point, I started getting like weird ones, one that were more recurrent, right? And at one point, there was like a girl who's like, my husband's in a shower. Like, come join me or whatever. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And then as I like more and more of those, and they were like real. And I was like, gee, I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I was like, you know what? No. No. That's the point. It became that there was so many of them that I was like, I can't do this. I can't be on this app and have recurrent messages from actual weirdo temptation baiting dog shit all day. It's just not healthy. It's just not worth it, and I think it's a problem. So I just stopped using it entirely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I think I understand most of the standpoints that you have, except about the DMing part. I feel like I've interacted with I'm not afraid of saying it. A lot of people know this from this chat. I've responded to probably thousands of DMs or snaps in a really like cool, almost like entertaining way. Whatever it's saying, whatever, right? And it's why I think I understand why some people DM. I think it's really like the one-to-one privatized thing that they feel like it was towards them, but not in public. That makes them feel like they're given the attention or whatever. But sometimes something that has a double-edged sword, because if it becomes too parasocial over there or too involved, people are like, oh, he answered me 4 messages in a row over the span of 2 weeks, and now he hasn't done it anymore. And look, I sent him, look, that is my birthday, and this time he hasn't replied to me. That's kind of weird. That's kind of unfair. And then now they feel betrayed, and they feel like I've pulled them just to cut them off, and that's really unlucky. And that's one of the main things, one of the reasons why I stopped responding to DMs like that.
Yeah, I agree. That's and again, like, I know that, like, it's always going to be a popular take. I think it's incredibly inappropriate to message somebody privately unless it, like, needs to be a private message. So, for instance, if you're trying to, like, fuck somebody or trying to, like, flirt with somebody, I think that it's really inappropriate to send, like, a larger creator, like, oh my god, like, X, like, I love your streams, and, like, looking for, like, a response or whatever. Like, there's just no one, like, it's unhealthy for you personally. Like, you're gonna fuck your mind up, right? If you really want the attention, fucking donate $5 on stream, or leave a public comment on the Twitter, or somewhere on Instagram. Like, the idea that you're, like, looking for that one-on-one interaction with somebody that streams to, like, 50,000-60,000 people, who has, like, millions of followers, like, it's super unhealthy mentally, and I don't think that people should be doing that. I don't think it's a good thing. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
But yeah.
Yeah. Well, I always felt bad because I get a lot of I used to get a lot of cool DMs like, hey man, it's my husband's birthday and he watches the stream all the time and he wants to say like a quick like hi or something like that, and I would send like videos sometimes like hey, what up man, happy birthday, whatever. But then later on, over the next couple months, because I accepted the DM, whatever it's on Instagram or Twitter, because I accepted the DM, right? Now the line of communication is now both ways, right? If they send a message, it gets to me, right? The only way to stop that is to block them, and then I would get a lot of DMs like, oh, hey man, I'm trying to buy this game. Can I get a couple bucks? Or hey,
God,
could you do this or could you do that? And a lot of them ended up being about money, which made me feel like really uncomfortable. So it's like they're in the DMs, they know I received it, I had it because I accepted the initial DM, which was harmless, and now they're asking me for like V-Bucks or like Steam cards or something, and I'm like, dude, I mean, the fuck is that, man? And it makes me feel bad, but I shouldn't feel bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Have you got? Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. I get those emails. Sometimes people have like the sob stories, where they'll be like, oh, like my brother like lost his job and my family's really hungry and I just need like $50 or whatever for it. It's like, bro, like what the fuck? Have you ever had people email you looking for job opportunities where they're like, oh my god, xQc, like I want to shadow you, like I want to do this, like blah blah blah, or like, is there anything that I can help you with? Like I'll be like an unpaid assistant. Or do you get people that send you shit like that?
Oh yeah, a bunch of people that ask to be cooks, drivers, assistants, mentors, personal chauffeurs or whatever the fuck. Butlers. I've had this crazy amount over the years. People send me their fucking resumes and shit, and with like pictures of them, like oh, this is me. Look, I'm legit, and have like this like big ass beard, and they're like yeah man, I live in the area. I'm like I always thought those to be a little bit odd unless asked, you know. I don't blame them, because if one is something like, oh shit, yeah, I actually need that, yeah, it could have been cool, I guess. But other than that, it's like, but other than that, I don't use my email anymore, because people, I mean, they sign me up for a bunch of bullshit on that email. That email is gone. Now I get fucking jobs in your area, big schnauzer. We have new results for your test, fucking douche nozzle. And it's like, I'm on like a million fucking email lists. It's fucking stupid as shit. I've had a guy order pizza with my email to his address, and I could track the deliveries going to his address. Like, why don't you use your own email, dumb fuck? And like, I've had like such weird shit with that. It's just odd. I don't know, man. Like some of this stuff, I have to actively and mechanically remind myself that I shouldn't feel bad about it, right? But it just keeps popping up. It's like, you have to fight like normal human responses or whatever. And I think if you were susceptible to that and you didn't have those patterns, you'd fall for that 100%. You would succumb, right? To these things.
I mean, like, it's human nature too. That's why people beg on the street and make a lot of money doing it sometimes, right? Like, yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a healthy discussion. Okay. Well, thanks for accepting my call, man.
Yep, no problem, buddy.
What are you eating?
Skittles.
Okay. What about your fiance or your wife? Is she around?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I thought maybe.
Why do you want to talk to her?
Nah.
She said hello.
I think she's sucking this this motherfucker with this yee ass haircut.
Good one. She's actually fucking like 10 guys right now. You actually called me in the middle. The reason why I didn't call is because I was crying because I was so sad I was getting cucked. So that's why I had to wait a second to dry my tears.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
What?
Now that you brought that up,
Uh-oh.
anytime that I was watching a video the other day about it was what would you do, right?
Okay.
And some guy was a waiter talking to some guy's girlfriend, and he would say like really mild, nothing stuff. And I was like, dude, if the dude is secure about his relationship, I mean, he won't give a fuck. It's, if anything, it's entertaining or whatever. And it can boost like his partner's like confidence that she still has it or whatever. But Chad was like a cuck, actual cuck. He's letting her talk to this guy. That's just being a cuck lord. He's being cucked right now. Takes?
Yeah.
Takes on that?
Yeah, people are insecure as fuck. I don't know if I've talked to you about this before. Have you ever had it at where you're at like TwitchCon or you're at any type of like these types of conventions where you're talking to a girl? So a girl will come up to you like, oh my God, are you like X or Destiny, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh yeah. And you're chatting for like a couple, like maybe like 20 seconds. And then like a guy will come up out of nowhere and like throw his arm around her. Like, oh yeah. Hey, what's up? This is my girl. Yeah. It's
Man,
like that kind of thing.
That's a classic. It's actually why I usually keep a certain amount of distance, right? Or like an angle because I know it's coming. Just on how the interaction is going, you know for a fact they're coming in.
Yeah.
This is
feel them.
Yeah, this is so common. I mean, I can't stress it enough. I mean, it's not to be rude, which is fine if people can do that. It's most of the interactions are like that. Yeah, it's kind of and I think it's kind of odd though. It's kind of like, dude, people want like a picture, whatever. Like I just make videos and I react to like boring shit. I'm not gonna like steal your girl on the fly. Like I don't know who the fuck. I know what they feel so threatened by or by me or whatever. Like I'm a skeleton man. You know, I don't know why it happens like that.
Or like I don't know. I guess it's different because I'm in like an open relationship. But if I was in a closed relationship, like if I felt like my girlfriend was gonna leave me by just talking to a guy, like why the fuck would you even be in that relationship? Like you must be like so fucking miserable.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
if you see everybody, every male
is like a threat.
As a threat, it's dude. How can you live like this? It's that's like the very small man mentality. Like no, don't talk to this guy. No, don't do that. No, this guy's too hot. No, it's like, dude, like this will never be healthy. Like that is like.
You want like the really sad fact too is that a lot of people won't acknowledge this, but this is the truest thing in the world. Okay, and this works for guys and girls. Unfortunately, desperation is probably like the biggest fucking turnoff thing that you can ever have for somebody. And if you're worried about your partner like talking to somebody, as soon as you start like throwing off desperate vibes, you are drying that person up.
Yeah, it's already too late.
Either their pussy is turning into the Sahara Desert or the guy's dick is like retracting into his body, and you will like drive that person off so unbelievably fucking like hard, and you're completely fucked at that point. Yeah.
It's already too late. I think if you even have the thought of it, it's almost too late. And if you show any signs of it, you're absolutely GG. And I mean, and I think these are issues that people can work on over time, right? Through introspection or whatever, right? Because otherwise, if you're somebody who's insecure overall, I mean, you're never gonna have a healthy relationship, and you shouldn't be locked in that like mental jail. You can work your way out of it. There are things that you can do. To regain that confidence or whatever, right? But you have to tackle those issues, and that takes a lot of guts to admit to yourself that you see things a certain way, and to it is what it is.
Yeah, and you're super right. It's a confidence thing too, and I think people can feel that. I think like how confident you are. Like if my partner goes off and like I said, if I was in a close relationship, like if my partner is going off and talking to people, like if I was so worried that they were going to leave me, I would just dump them and go find somebody else. Like if I'm so worried about that, like what the fuck? Like you can't be like, you talk about like being locked in a prison in your mind. You can't like take the other person in prison with you and hope they're going to be happy with that. Like like everybody's going to be fucked. Like your relationship is going to be fucked. Yeah, you have to have some level of confidence that like your partners are going to instantly fucking leave you, or that level of desperation will like seep into every single part of your relationship.
Yeah, I mean that's a hard agree. See, chat as active right now, they're agreeing with everything we said. But whenever I said this solo, the exact same thing, I I did not get the same response at all. Not even a little bit. It's whew. She has seen the things that people were typing. Jesus Christ, man. Okay. No, guys, nobody. Okay. Yeah, I'm good. I'm not gonna milk out the content. Okay. People want to know your take on Futa, but I mean, it's kind of
on foot. Oh, that's like the huge dick girls, right?
Yeah.
I don't really care. I don't watch it much.
Oh, okay. Why not?
I just, you want to know why?
Yeah.
Hentai in the 90s was animated really well. And when they started switching over to all digital shit, I don't know why. A lot of it today, like the animation just sucks. There's fewer frames of unique animation. Oftentimes there's like pubes in the girl's mouth. I don't know why they draw shit like this.
Yeah, it looks like a bush, it looks like a spiky, like fucking like animal. It's really odd.
It's really weird and really bad, and just like the way that it's animated, like the dicks are way too big, the mouths are way too small, the tits are way too fucking huge. Like everything is just like so crazy horrible. All the girls act like they're 9 years old. Oh, don't touch me there. Oh no, you're gonna make me wet. Like it's so horrible. Oh god.
It looks like my editor's saying we're running out of time.
Okay.
So Jeremy says that we're going to the next segment. Yo, seriously, thanks for your time, man.
Yeah, wait, who?
Jeremy, my editor is. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm completely out of time. I'm completely out of time. Oh, he left. Dumb fuck. He had to. He's still mad about last time when I did it to him.
Destiny.
Yikes.
Had a beer and
Yikes.
19-year-old grooming a 17-year-old? Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Now, the YouTuber and streamer Critical was reading out the
DGG. DGG for life. DGG. DGG, brother man.